Here's 710 KURV AccuWeather forecast. Windy today with a mix of clouds and sun. Very warm. Highs in the upper 80s, low 90s. The southeast wind at 20 to 30 miles an hour sustained. Mostly cloudy, breezy, still quite warm tonight. The low just down into the mid 70s with the southeast winds subsiding some to 12 to 25 miles an hour. Still windy and warm. Variably cloudy Thursday, mid 80s to low 90s. Windy on Friday too with clouds and sun, mid 80s to low 90s. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
Hi, this is Marty Moore from D&M Cleaners. If you are already a customer of ours, you know by now that we have always replaced those missing buttons and repaired those minor rips and seams, all free of charge. But one thing you may not be aware of is that we have a full alterations department. Our seamstress has over 35 years of experience. Not only can she replace that zipper, let that hem down, or even take up that waist, she is also very capable of handling all of your wedding gown and formal wear. Why don't you now consider stepping up to D&M Cleaners, Farr, McAllen, and Edinburgh?
The 710 KURV People Poll is brought to you by Total Imaging Solutions, where service comes first.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce,
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees when used as directed. Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
Broadcasting from the Valley's commercial and fleet headquarters studio at PayneAutoGroup.com. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. From the Radio United Broadcast Center, this is the Sergio Show. Talking about the news headlines and topics that affect you. And now, the Sergio Show with Sergio Sanchez.
A very special edition of the program. We're broadcasting from South Texas College, the Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. Also broadcasting at 710 KURV YouTube Live, Facebook Live, X Live. I mentioned this because it's real easy on those platforms just to go back and do the rewind. If you have us on Radio Para Mí, the free app, 710 KURV, this block of audio can do a rewind. I suspect that the folks who are responsible for us being here at South Texas College today, the good folks from COSTEP, the Council of South Texas Economic Progress, COSTEP, it is a regional-minded entity. You guys are, of course, in business and leadership. You know that. We have some regional-minded entities, COSTEP. We got the Valley Partnership. We've got the private sector, Rioplex, for example. We're trying to sell the Valley. Land us some jobs, get more investment. It's wonderful times that we live in South Texas. So today's special edition of the Sergio Show is here because of COSTEP and for COSTEP, because today's a big reveal here at South Texas College. At 10 o'clock this morning, there will be a get-together with local leadership, the folks in economic development, the folks who work in county and EDCs and in industry as well. The big reveal on what is they've named the Industrial Intelligence Briefing today to reveal their data, the data system, the industrial data system. The last conversation that I had with folks at COSTEP, they were telling us about this months-long, year-long plus study. They'd been taking an inventory of industry in the region, northern Mexico and southern Texas. Like, what is it that we produce in this region? Try to create a data set, compile all this information. Hopefully it can help us to lure complementary industry. That's the way I see it. So let's get right to it because we got our guests have a lot to share with us today. Adam Gonzalez, our CEO and Senior Vice President for COSTEP. Rick Carrera is Director of Economic Development. Gentlemen, thank you for having us over. For us, it's a real honor.
Thank you for having us here.
Thank you for having us. Our
participating in this very special day. I know it's very special, and it's a great honor for us to be here with you today. Okay, so for folks driving around, working for a living right now, let's do the rewind. Adam, the study, how long, what is the purpose of the study, the data that you will be revealing today?
So this started back on December 3rd when we had our first meeting with EDCs and other stakeholders of the region. Mm-hmm. And we started that data gathering back then, and now it's 3 months later. We told them we would be releasing it third quarter, the industrial data system. And really what we did is catalog several companies, almost 315 companies that we cataloged. But more importantly than just the companies, what we cataloged is their productive sector, what they produce. And we were astonished at the production levels that we have here, what we supply, but also what other sectors they provide and what other sectors they cover. So those two sets of data sets, what they provided us is data, a complementary data, so that we know what we're producing in the region by city and by county, and also northern Tamaulipas.
Okay. The data set of 300, is it evenly split between South Texas and northern Mexico? Or
no, we well know that a lot of the manufacturing takes place on the northern Tamaulipas area. We have about 85% of the companies that produce processes and products on the northern Tamaulipas side. And that's exactly what we need to know, though. Exactly what do we have on this side and how we can leverage what we have on the northern Tamaulipas side to help either grow our companies that are here, manufacturing companies, or help attract new companies that are looking for those types of processes and those types of talents.
The 300 that you gathered information on, ballpark figure, like it's a sample of how big of a pie, like how many hundreds more, thousands are we looking at in the region?
We actually covered, I believe, about 90% of the companies that produce something here.
So you went for the major ones, the biggest employers.
We have some companies here that as a legacy are considered manufacturing companies, but they're really not. They're primarily assembly, warehousing, logistics, and so we did not capture that data because we're trying to bring manufacturing jobs to the region, which are higher paying jobs, require a higher skill set. And of course, we're trying to create jobs for our residents here in Rio South, Texas. And again, Rio South, Texas is not the Rio Grande Valley. Rio South, Texas is the Rio Grande Valley region and the Laredo region combined together.
Adam Gonzalez, CEO of COSTEP, along with Rick Carrera, Director of Economic Development. As you told me last time in our conversation, the objective of this data set is to help the economic development offices and any other entity that hopes to recruit in this region, help out, get like a quick shot information, who's here, and how does maybe we can complement, or somebody's knocking at our door, we can say, yeah, we've got something similar or something that can complement, I suppose. Rick Carrera, tell me, how do you see that data set complementing the EDC efforts?
You know, as coincidence, actually not coincidence, I often run into these scenarios. Had a virtual meeting yesterday with a potential company, potential lead, and they're looking for an area that's going to bring, say, that has existing companies that do metal work, metal stamping, that kind of thing. And I know we have some of that here, either here in the Rio Grande Valley, Laredo, or northern Tamaulipas. But having a data set like this makes that information so much easier to access. And the fact that it's going to be an online platform, we actually have documented proof that we can show a potential company, like, this is what we have in the area. These are the capacities, these are the capabilities, and it's at our fingertips, as opposed to saying, okay, I know we have this, let me get back to you in a few days, right? So having that at our disposal, at our access, is a huge, huge benefit for us. And that's our primary reason. Secondary is a lot of people just want to know who's in a neighborhood, what are they doing, and how are they operating. And it's so having a database like this is going to be a fantastic asset.
The Council of South Texas Economic Progress, and of course it's Rio South Texas, the regional entity hoping to sell South Texas, northern Mexico. That's the COSTEP branch, the COSTEP effort to recruit industry to South Texas. Today, revealing their industrial data system. They've taken about 300 of the local companies, about 85% on the Mexican side, manufacturers, different type of industries, and provided this snapshot. Hopefully it help us on the economic development side, different entities. This, I would imagine, Adam, this helps with it. Like when you get an RFI, one of those requests for information on the region, you got the book, ready to go, right? Go to the website.
It'll definitely help with that. But one other important thing that it's going to help with is alignment of the educational systems of higher education, aligning to what jobs are needed out there, what skill sets are needed out there, so that we can start educating our students so they can fill those positions as those companies grow and as we help attract new companies.
And that's for us, for Region 1, for the universities, for the colleges, and other
trades. Now, this system is going to be available to the world. It's not going to be just COSTEPs. It is actually for the region to use in order to create marketing materials, promotion materials for the higher ed, and even K-12 to create programs within their institutions, and for other EDCs and other stakeholders to use to help promote the region.
Yeah, this is going to help everybody, including the Economic Development Office for the governor up in Austin, trying to sell the region, I would imagine. Right?
Correct. As a matter of fact, I've already got calls from the governor's office. Their staff that operates on the Mexico side, they want to collaborate with us in order to help them attract more industry to this region from Mexico.
Adam Gonzalez, CEO of COSTEP. Rick Carrera, Director of Economic Development for COSTEP. Rick, how deep is the profile on these individual companies? Does it provide, let's say, adjacent land? Oh, we got 20 acres next door to this thing. You mentioned education. That's what I was going to ask about training. Like, what educational assets institution work with to get that curriculum and get our people trained for whatever it is that we do?
Right. Not necessarily adjacent properties, but it does cover several of their processes that cover several different industries. Perhaps you may have a textile operation out there that's supplying the automotive industry, but that doesn't mean they're not open to providing services to other industries, maybe in the aerospace or somebody else who can use textiles. So that's the other thing that we wanted to accomplish with this, is that in turn, it may open business opportunities for the existing manufacturing base here. So we went into depth on that for that specific purpose, just to create those opportunities, create more business for these organizations. And of course, it helps with recruitment because that's your supply chain. Yeah, more often than not, a company moves to a different location. Sometimes they'll bring their supply chain with them, but the other side of that coin is that they will need to have some existing supply chain assets here in the area. So that's the other reason we have this database.
This industrial data system that you're revealing today at 10 o'clock here at South Texas College. We're in the Student Union building, by the way. I'm not inviting. I'm just saying that's where we are. You need to, like, who's coming to the meeting at 10 o'clock this morning that you'll be revealing this to?
Well, we invited definitely higher ed from the 7-county region, and also some of them from the Mexico side. Any economic development organization that exists here in the 7-county region, and a not-for-profit economic development from Mexico. We invited Index Canacintra, of course, since they have a big hand in manufacturing. And so other stakeholders, banks, and other stakeholders that would be of interest.
Industrial developers will be here. Our friends from the Far Bridge will be here as well. I contacted them the last couple of days. Perhaps somebody from the Port of Brownsville may be here also. So we've got a lot of the stakeholders. Anybody who can benefit from having this information at hand will have a representative here.
Yeah. On the EDC side, I know Teklo from Mission's going to be here. There's free food and coffee. So he found out there's food. So I know Teklo's coming to this.
He's on the RSVP list.
This data system, this industrial data system, from the Eagle's Perch, a snapshot of what we're building, what the companies are in northern Mexico, southern Texas. This database. Did you develop the questions and the data gathering based on what? For example, I mentioned Teklo and Ralphie Boy over at McAllen, Gilbert and Brownsville, like all these EDCs. Did you base it on some of their questions and requests? Like, please ask this, look for this, give me this type of information.
We're always meeting with the economic development directors and their teams about what their needs are and what they're looking to attract. So yes, the questions were geared towards, what they wanted to hear and what they wanted to see. But more importantly, one of the other things we're also doing an inventory of higher ed and the programs that we have here for manufacturing on both sides of the border. We started a group called the Binational Higher Education Advisory Council that is going to feed us, and we're in the midst right now of getting all that inventory and helping bring this data set along with the higher ed data set and create those links for them in order to have the right programs here.
I was going to ask you, if there was going to be like a follow-up. So that is the follow-up then, taking inventory of educational assets.
Correct.
Ground,
This is going to be a living document for hopefully for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be updated annually. As you know well, sometimes companies shut down or sometimes they shift. Sometimes they pick up new process, especially if we're trying to attract new industries. If we got somebody in Europe or in Mexico or in Canada that are looking for a specific skill set and process, we can show to them that we have it here and we've been doing it for a long time. And that makes them more comfortable that we have the experience to help them in manufacturing their product. Now, we also have some plants that we've heard that they have a certain percentage sitting idle, so they could perhaps garner some business from the outside as well and start producing more products so that we can get more primary dollars coming into our region.
That is Adam Gonzalez. He's the CEO and Senior Vice President for COSTEP. Today is a very special day for COSTEP. And Rio, South Texas, which is the unifying regional entity that is hoping to sell South Texas and northern Mexico, they're revealing today their industrial data system. It's a gathering of roughly 300 different companies that represent the manufacturing capacity and the output for the region, northern Mexico and southern Texas. So we have folks that would benefit from that on the educational side, economic development side, and industry gathering here at South Texas College at 10 o'clock this morning. When we come back, I will entertain the conversation with Adam and with Rick on where we're headed. McAllen is maybe about 2 weeks away. I think it's like, I don't know, it's like 20-something, 24, 20. A big announcement in McAllen. Massive new industry to the area. And Freddie and I, we've been talking with STC about this for a while. Jobs that pay like $80, $90 an hour. Like, wow. Producer Freddie's like, where do I get some of that? So we're now paying producer Freddie $90 an hour to keep him here at KURV. Well, where are we headed with big manufacturing coming to this area? Brownsville, you hear us, they're just hitting it out of the park. It's like a grand slam all the time at the Port of Brownsville with Elon Musk. Harlingen looking at the data center possibility and so much more. Amazing, transformative economic events taking place in South Texas. We'll talk more with COSTEP next from South Texas College, the Sergio Show on Newstalk 710 KURV.
Coming up after the Sergio Show, stay tuned for the Dana Les Show starting at 11, followed by the Brian Kilmeade Show at 2 on News Talk 710 KURV and on the Radio Potterme app.
Join News Talk 710 KURV's Sergio Sanchez on The Sergio Show, Wednesday morning starting at 9 from South Texas College in McAllen, featuring the Council of South Texas Economic Progress reveal of their industrial data system. Learn where industries are coming together and how key sectors are evolving and why Rio, South Texas is emerging as a strategic platform for increasing investment. Get the inside news Wednesday morning starting at 9 on The Sergio Show on 710 KURV, the pulse of Valley business.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. VapoCool.
Thank you, McAllen, and thank you, Rio Grande Valley, for listening today to News Talk 710 KURV, the Valley's official home for Fox News Radio.
Time is 9:24. The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. We're broadcasting from the Student Union building at South Texas College today at 10 o'clock in the morning. Our friends from COSTEP, Rio, South Texas, doing the big reveal. A study, they gathered about 300 different companies, did a deep dive, tried to gather as much data, provided in one report for local economic development education folks to access. Hopefully, this will grease the skids, help us to attract more industry to South Texas at a time when, do we really need to attract more industry? It's like we're hitting it out of the park all of the time. Before we talk about where we're headed, because wow, on the immediate horizon with McAllen, a big announcement coming up in about 2 weeks. Gilbert over at Brownsville EDC working on his own multi-billion-dollar projects. The Port of Brownsville, shipbuilding likely on the way. More of that on the way. It's wonderful times. to live in South Texas. Adam Gonzalez, CEO of COSTEP, Rick Carrera, Director of Economic Development with COSTEP. You have also, Adam, you all have also been focusing on gathering more information and reaching out to auto clusters, and you were mentioning as well, like aerospace and aviation-based clusters. So tell me about some of the work that you're doing there, see if we can get some of that energy.
So when COSTEP started back in 2020 in the economic development realm, what we focused on is bringing people to the area, showcasing the area, not only promoting outside, but the focus was to bring them here, boots on the ground, and show them what we have and introduce them to key stakeholders like economic development organizations, higher ed, and just show them all the assets, the regional assets that we have here and how business is done here. That helps attract. There's nothing like standing here. Everybody that we bring here have always said, we've never been here and this is a great place to do business. And they start seeing and formulating opportunities for business.
Yeah, on the economic development side, your bailiwick, Rick, where do you take them to impress? Like what's restaurant or like the beach, or where do you take them to?
Occasionally we'll take them to the beach. It's really, we're trying to get them the most information they can find useful in terms of their industrial ambitions, right?
Okay.
So we do some quality of life things. Obviously, we're going to take them to some of the better restaurants in the area. And if time allows, we typically take them to a windshield tour of SpaceX, because that's usually a big hit. Big hit with those people. Then if time
they
allows,
ask, right? Rick say, hey, can we go see the rockets? Can we
absolutely.
Go see SpaceX? Right?
Well, it's a draw.
Yeah.
When I'm out and about, going to the different conferences I go to, speaking to site selectors, that kind of thing, and some aren't even aware that those launches happen here, right? This is, hey, I saw that in the news. That's great. Where was that? I was like, that was right in my backyard, right? On a clear day from my front yard in McAllen, I can see that plume of smoke, that's left over. So to kind of dovetail on what Adam's saying, they're not aware of what's going on in the region. So when we get boots on the ground here, it's always a big, big plus, because it's an eye opener for them. It really is.
What are they looking for, Rick? What, like energy, water, other resources, land?
Obviously,
what are they looking for?
Energy and water are big, but that's everybody across the board. I speak to a lot of economic development organizations from all over the country. Some are regionally groups just like ourselves. Energy and water are always going to be big. The biggest thing, and this is our largest advantage by far, is they're looking for available workforce. And the fact that we have a very, very young population here, we have our educational resources. We're sitting in one right now here in South Texas College, beg your pardon. We have good relationships, as Adam mentioned, with the higher ed institutions on both sides of the border. We're able to train people up at a rapid pace, get their workforce ready. So when I come from the data in terms of our population and our youth, that's also an eye opener, because I've spoken to people from the Midwest, per se. They've landed a company and they're getting a hard time getting people to even apply to work there, right? And I don't think we would have that problem here, to be quite honest with you. I really, really don't. I think we're in a good position to provide these companies a really good workforce, and also provide our population, especially the younger population, a really, really good opportunity.
Region 1 at the high schools. We have some high schools with the trade and technology programs. Edinburgh comes to mind. McAllen comes to mind. They can retrofit some of the curriculum for some of the jobs that would only require like 6 months. And
absolutely.
Out of high school, boom.
Absolutely.
And some of these workers are making like six-figure salaries, like the welders, from going from Edinburgh to the port.
So like Adam said, we've got good relationships with not only the EDOs, but the institutions of higher education.
Yeah.
I have pretty regular contact with Dr. Carlos Margo, who's in charge of a lot of those programs here at South Texas College. And he's constantly telling me, he's like, we're ready to provide the training.
Excellent.
You know, and we've brought companies to them to have meetings, to have sit downs. Okay, what's the training like? What are we looking at in terms of timeline?
This has been years in the making. This synergy that exists between the school districts, Region 1, the colleges, the university, our massive, wonderful university, UTRGV, Texas A&M, and of course their training center over. We have everything on the young population, eager to work,
absolutely,
highly intelligent, can sop up the information, especially the young ones, sop up the information like this. And of course, all we need is the curriculum, the requirements from industry.
Right.
We'll get them trained for you real quick.
And they're ready. And they're ready to help. They're ready to provide that training.
Right. And most importantly, we need the companies here so that our best and brightest can remain here and be productive in our region.
Or come back.
Yeah.
Right. The brain drain is ended. Is ending.
It is.
We need to end it.
Drain is ended.
It is.
Yeah. They're pumping out engineers at UTRGV, Texas A&M. What a wonderful time. So where are we headed? Again, the question before the break. Where are we headed? I mean, we got, thank God that, I always say this. I'm a big fan of Elon Musk. I know you guys are probably, a lot of people in the industry as well. You mentioned it, SpaceX as a magnet. It attracts people. It's an attention grabber. Okay, now that we got your attention with the rocket launch, let me show you what's going on around here. So let's say, I don't know, let's take it out 10 years. Adam Gonzalez, 10 years from now, Rio Grande Valley economy, industry, output, manufacturing, what will be on the ground in your opinion?
Well, out of manufacturing companies, like I said, that we cataloged of 315, only 15% are here in the Rio South Texas region.
Yeah.
Most of them, of course, on the Rio Grande Valley part of the region. And so the plan is to increase that and also increase the GDP per capita of our region. We have always been known for lower paying wages and things like that. And that's one of the things we want to do away with. We want our residents to earn a fair wage for what they work and not have to leave the region to garner that lifestyle.
That big manufacturer coming to McAllen. Yeah, I think $90 an hour. That's pretty fair. It sounds pretty fair to me. Yeah. Okay, Rick, from your perspective, where are we headed? The Valley economy, we got rockets. Yeah. We're building ships, probably more ships, like setting out to sea. We got traditional energy, LNG. What else could we want? What do you see happening to the economy in 10 years? What are we
10 years? Well, you touched on some of the major announcements that Gilbert's probably has pending. I know Ralph and Liz McCown, EDC, have a pending announcement coming up. Raudel's done really good things with Zoho. Declo had a major announcement not too long ago about a recycling company from Mexico. We get a lot of calls from Mexico. Depending on what happens with USMCA, there could be a lot more movement into the area from the manufacturing sector in Mexico to be on this side for obvious reasons. I think this is the very beginning of perhaps a period of large industrial growth here in the Rio Grande Valley. It really is. Getting back to the SpaceX thing, what some people may not take into consideration, or maybe they do, what I often tell people, getting back to your quality of life question, for those professionals that work at SpaceX to enjoy the quality of life down here says a lot. It means that our region can sustain a large Fortune 100, Fortune 500 company. And what I mean by the sustain is you can sustain the quality of life for the employees that are going to be here. So they are a huge example of that.
And SpaceX is a great example of a company that takes care of their own.
Absolutely.
They're that massive campus over housing, living, entertainment nearby at the river, all those things that
all those things,
nature-oriented, all those things as well. And we can expect that from some of the bigger players.
Yes.
That come to the area.
And one thing we need to be cognizant of is that we can't stop this collaboration, this regionalism that's happening, because it's benefiting everybody that's involved here, and especially the region. And it's again, it's something great that we're seeing in the past 5 years, and I think we need to continue with that momentum.
What do you wish to see that would complement this Herculean effort on your behalf? And others who care so much about our community are doing the same, try to sell like the regional efforts. What would you like to see happen to complement your efforts?
Well, currently we have over 140 industrial parks. A lot of them have available land, have available buildings. We definitely want those filled up, maybe start constructing even more parks after that, but definitely bringing in more industry. And not just warehousing and logistics part of it, because industry will bring warehousing and logistics, it brings retail, it brings more seats into the higher ed system. It's a benefit for all, not just for certain individuals or certain companies, but a benefit for the region and the rest of this region.
We'll flesh this one out at a later date, but on the idea of regionalism, an idea that's gone back decades, we are definitely now more than ever, we're definitely one region, one RGV. Do we need to champion in unison the partnership, Rioplex, the EDCs, county, city, COSTEP, everybody? Let's get on the bandwagon to create one MSA, one RGV, Metropolitan Statistical Area for the region, get all that more data on the books. It's just one solid brick, one RGV region.
I think that would benefit the region for sure, because when we act as individual and we're too small, but if we act as a region, we're definitely
Yes,
the
sir.
size that creates an impression on companies and other parts of the world.
Right.
I can't say
The proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, Rick, go ahead.
If you look at the MPO, when they merged the MPOs here,
Yes, sir.
just look at the amount of funding that's coming into the region now for infrastructure, just based on that MPO merger.
You guys working for a living, the Metropolitan Planning Organization, the MPO entity that eventually will help us land some transportation dollars for highways, for bridges, all that stuff around here. We unified the region into one MPO, and just like that, we were bigger than El Paso, Texas. We're number 5 on the list, and the top 5 markets get the most cash for highways.
When you asked about what's next, one of the things I forgot to mention is that we are in the midst of releasing an economic impact report that manufacturing will have on the region, how it creates jobs exponentially, the types of revenue streams that it brings in payroll, in taxes, not only for the county, for the state, but for the Fed. And we're also going to do some comparisons. We're going to ruffle some feathers. We're going to do some comparisons between manufacturing, warehousing, and retail, because we want to see the exponential numbers that manufacturing has that trickles down to all.
Yeah.
The indirect jobs that are created by manufacturing are unbelievable.
Yeah. Ruffle some feathers, just don't make any enemies. Don't make anybody mad.
COSTEP's always a friend. We always have friends with COSTEP.
That's right. That economic impact report, when do you expect to publish?
Probably 45 to 60 days.
Okay, well, we'll check in.
Yeah, it's out already, but we're reviewing it. We want to make sure we can answer all the questions.
Check for spelling, punctuation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Grammar.
Yeah, there we go.
The colors.
On this National Grammar Day, by the way, if you didn't know, this is National Grammar Day. Yeah.
Cross the T's, not the I's.
There we go. You know, the computer could probably do most of that, but then you got to go back check the computer's work. Make sure they didn't miss something. Adam, Rick, thank you. It's a real honor to be with you today on this very special day.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Rio, South Texas. COSTEP revealing their industrial data system. 10 o'clock this morning. We have folks in academia, folks in economic development, leadership, and industry receiving this report. What are we doing? What are we manufacturing? What are we producing in northern Mexico and South Texas? And big thank you to Adam Gonzalez and Rick Carrera with COSTEP for having us over here at South Texas College, site of this special event today. This is the Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. Time is 9:37. Back to the mothership, 710 KURV in Mission, Texas. And we're going to pay some bills and catch up with the world. A little bit of news next on 710 KURV, the Sergio Show.
Tax time, drive time at Toyota Far, and your refund just became your new ride. Drive a new Tacoma for only $93 a month, a powerful Tundra for $207, Camry for $289, or a RAV4 for $249 a month. Hurry, these offers won't stick around. Visit us at 1625 West Interstate 2 in Far, shop at ToyotaFar.com, or call 956-815-2285. 815-2285.
Toyota Far, somos buena gente.
Planning and savings accounts and the training at Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing, the training that they invest in for all of their employees to be safe, like multiple strata of different certifications. It is very impressive. Trust Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing to come over to your place, your businesses, all your buildings, and give you a free inspection, tell you if there's any weak points on your commercial roofing systems. If there's nothing wrong, they'll tell you. You're good to go. Call us back in a couple of years. That is the excellence of Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing. Trust them with your roofing project. ChamberlainLTD.com, the phone number to make an appointment, 956-655-6178.
Join News Talk 710 KURV's Sergio Sanchez on The Sergio Show, Wednesday morning starting at 9 from South Texas College in McAllen, featuring the Council of South Texas Economic Progress reveal of their industrial data system. Learn where industries are coming together and how key sectors are evolving, and why Rio South Texas is emerging as a strategic platform for increasing investment. Get the inside news Wednesday morning starting at 9 on The Sergio Show on 710 KURV, the pulse of Valley business.
Are you in the market for a new Toyota or pre-owned Toyota? Look no further than Toyota of Far. They have extensive selection of Toyota cars and Toyota trucks and Toyota SUVs, along with exceptional customer service every step of the way. Number to call, 956-815-2285.
Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. An update from the Pentagon.
We can sustain this fight easily for as long as we need to.
War Secretary Pete Hegseth on day 5 of the operation against Iran.
As President Trump said, more and larger waves are coming. We are just getting started.
Adding they can't do anything to stop it.
The Iranian Air Force is no more.
And on top of that,
the Iranian Navy rests at the bottom of the Persian Gulf.
The War Secretary alongside Joint Chiefs Chair General Dan Kane.
We will now begin to expand inland, striking progressively deeper into Iranian territory and creating additional freedom of maneuver for U.S. forces.
Court hearings underway in the House. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and State AG Keith Ellison grilled by Republicans. America's listening to Fox News.
Here's 710 KURV AccuWeather forecast. Windy today with a mix of clouds and sun. Very warm. Highs in the upper 80s, low 90s. The southeast wind at 20 to 30 miles an hour sustained. Mostly cloudy, breezy, still quite warm tonight. The low just down into the mid-70s with the southeast winds subsiding some to 12 to 25 miles an hour. Still windy and warm, variably cloudy Thursday, mid-80s to low 90s. Windy on Friday, too, with clouds and sun, mid-80s to low 90s. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
Broadcasting from the Valley's commercial and fleet headquarters studio at PayneAutoGroup.com. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. The Sergio Show with Sergio Sanchez. Rapid fire headlines.
We're broadcasting from South Texas College, the McAllen campus here on Pecan. We're at the Student Union Building. We're here to support COSTEP and Rio South Texas today. It's a big reveal for them. They're producing their industrial data system, a report of about 300 or so local companies, manufacturers, northern Mexico, southern Texas. It's a snapshot of industry, and we hope that it helps education organizations, Region 1, the universities, colleges, training organizations, economic development organizations, and industry, as we all are rowing in the same direction. Let's bring some industry. Let's bring some jobs down here. I have a chance to speak with Dr. Rodney Rodriguez from STC here in just like about 60 seconds or so. For some of y'all who just barely woke up, you're taking your eye boogers out right now. So, okay, time to go to work. Okay, what happened last night? Give us what happened in the election? Right, what happened in the election? So let me review some local numbers that are interesting. Of course, you hear on the national stuff what's going on. So Congress. Who's the Democrat? Who's the Republican running? Congress, 15, as expected. Tejano great Bobby Pulido has been chosen by the Democrats to run for Congress 15. He will be challenging incumbent Republican Monica de la Cruz, who was unopposed in the election. In Congress 28, that's Henry Cuellar, fully vested with all of his incumbent political power, thanks to Donald Trump, who pardoned him a few months ago. Well, Henry's back, the incumbent. He won the Democrat nomination. Former Webb County Democrat turned Republican, Tano Tijerina, will be challenging him for Congress 28. in November. Congress 34, which is Brownsville, Harlingen, Cameron County, areas up in Corpus Christi. Vicente Chente Gonzalez, the incumbent Democrat, will be challenged by last name Flores, not first name Maida. Eric Flores, newcomer politically, will be challenging Vicente Gonzalez. There will be a new ag commissioner for Texas. Sid Miller has been removed by the Republicans. Nate Sheets is the nominee, and Nate Sheets will be taking on Clayton Tucker, who ran unopposed on the Democrat side. And let's just look at two more seats. So State House 41, Republican. Both Republican and Democrat races are going to runoff. The runoff is I think on the 28th of May, late May. Republican, Sergio J. Sanchez and Gary Groves, they're in the runoff. On the Democrat side, I'll just say this, I'll get back to my soapbox. A surprise, Victor Sebi Haddad came in second, but he's in the runoff. Julio Salinas just barely got a few more votes than Sebi. Julio Salinas, Victor Sebi Haddad, runoff for State House 41. Okay, I'll share more numbers with you later. Dr. Rodney Rodriguez,
wow,
in part is responsible for having us over here at South Texas College. Thank you, brother, for making this possible.
Oh my God, exactly. We wouldn't have anybody else but you here.
What a special day for COSTEP, our Rio South Texas effort.
It's been amazing.
Yeah. We talked a lot about education, well, a little bit about education.
Yeah.
There's a synergy that's taking place.
It really
that
is.
It's been many years in the making. I can say that 30 years behind this microphone to see the evolution of our economy.
Right.
The opportunities that are available now to our kids.
Absolutely.
The kids today that weren't even a thought or a glimmer in the eye of dad back then. They're new kids.
Yeah.
Complement this young workforce, young generation that is ready to work and be trained. And here at South Texas College, I want folks to know how quickly you work with workforce, work with industry to create a curriculum, turn things around. Let's get them trained.
So one of the great things at South Texas College is that we can customize training for industry right away.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, if they're coming to the Rio Grande Valley, we meet with them, partners like COSTEP, ResDef, Workforce Solutions. These are all entities that the college works with to make sure that we have the workforce and that we have the students prepared to go into that industry.
There is a whopper of an announcement coming up in about 2 weeks in McAllen. And you guys who are smart enough to connect the dots, the interviews that we've been doing with STC, I mentioned this in the last interview.
Yes.
Jobs that pay $80, $90 an hour.
That's
wow.
right.
Okay.
Yes,
and
sir.
what fields are they in? And we got an explanation from STC. Okay. Now that's what's coming to the area. So in a couple of weeks, big announcement, new industry to the area. Congratulations to the gang over at Economic Development in McAllen. And everybody else who worked with them, including South Texas College, because obviously you set up the curriculum to get people trained. Let's create a pipeline of workers to, as soon as they hit the ground, we start running when they hit the ground.
And the vision of the president and the board of trustees, they allow us and empower us to be
Dr.
able
Solis,
to work.
yeah.
Dr. Solis,
Yeah.
He's the visionary. 3 years ago, we really said we're going to have a strategic plan that we are going to incorporate not only the academic area, but the workforce and industry and technical trades. And that's something that we've really, it's just really taken off. And we've been able to offer many of those technical programs that the Valley needs for our students.
Dr. Rodney Rodriguez, Vice President of South Texas College, there are so many plates spinning, whether it's allied health and nursing,
Yes.
and more like on the ground, like let's say commercial truck driving, CDL, welding, all those things. Just like what comes to mind when you try to explain to somebody in a minute in the elevator, like South Texas College is doing this, and this. What do you tell them?
So what I tell them is whatever occupation there is, you're going to find it at South Texas College to get the students ready. If it's going to be an academic degree, certification, certificate, or a credential of value, one of the things that we're proud of is that we work with Workforce Solutions. Commissioners come down and they're in awe with everything that we've been doing here at South Texas College, because our success has been our partnerships with individuals like COSTEP and Workforce Solutions, Region 1. We don't do this alone. This has been something that we've been working on for, I would say, 5 years now, that has really now gone the fruits of our labor to be able to offer these incredible opportunities to our students, but not only to get a job, but get a high demand occupation job that pays well and make sure that they get out of that cycle of poverty.
30 years may seem like a long time, but when you look at an evolving market like the Valley that is rapidly growing and capitalizing, cashing in on opportunity,
yes,
in 30 years, it is really amazing. I would dare call it a miracle, the turnaround.
Yes.
Again, going back to 3 decades at this microphone, starting with double-digit unemployment that was in the 20s in the
That's
RGV.
right.
It was in the 20s. back
Wow.
then. And now, and I don't know if I told you this, Rodney, but it was, I think Freddie probably remembers when, but for all these years, we hear reports from the state on unemployment, like leaders in unemployment. And for the first time in all these years in talk radio, news radio, the Valley wasn't there anymore.
That's
It was
right.
somewhere like West Texas.
Yes.
It stinks to be you guys. Now we're off that list. Because they would say the lowest unemployment, Dallas Metro or Houston Metro. The highest unemployment, the McAllen, Harlingen, Brownsville market. Every report, boom, 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 for
For a long time.
right? And now we're off of that list.
Now we're the role model for not only the region, the state, and the nation with the innovative programs that we're bringing in, like Promise, JAG, Reconnect. Everyone wants to replicate these programs because they're so successful, because they bring not only our students that are graduating, but our adult population from 21 to 35. They're coming in, they're getting reskilled, they're getting marketable skills, and now they're changing it's like the second wave of their life, that they're going into another profession and making a difference in the region and really making a difference in their lives.
In those 30 years of the evolution, part of the solution to the training problem, workforce readiness problem, is all this dual credit. So we got high school kids that represent about half the census, right, at South Texas College.
Yeah.
So
almost
for years now, these workers getting college training and some technical training at
sir.
high school level, getting them ready.
That's correct.
For whatever's coming to South Texas.
And they're graduating with an associate's degree. So at 18, they're getting a degree from STC before they get a degree from high school. So they're ready to enter either the market, the workforce, or they go into a university, they transfer out, they go and they become juniors at 18 years of age.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible, with no debt.
Yeah.
No debt whatsoever, because we
and they're raking in
cover
the cash hand over fist.
That's right.
Depending on what they study,
That's
with
right.
the high in demand industry-based jobs at the
Exactly.
port, they're making a lot of money.
And not only that, they graduate with an associate's,
Yeah.
but they also graduate with credentials. So if they decide they want to do phlebotomy, they want some sort of credential aside from the associates, they can also do that.
Dr. Rodney Rodriguez, Vice President of South Texas College, going back to what you said about adults and adult training. We've done interviews with other folks that have set up, through the state of Texas, they've set up these adult high schools.
Yeah.
South Texas College with Edinburgh CISD,
Yes.
a new special partnership that finally got off the ground. And this was, again, going back to what Dr. Mario Salinas at Edinburgh CISD, he's training kids at this massive, like, for example, the welding bays and construction and
Yes.
HVAC. He's training kids there. And then the parents go tour with their workers saying, hey, I'd like to get in on this. I don't want to be a waiter anymore. I want to. And now the adults oh my goodness, I want to cry. Every time I say, now these parents are seeing their dream come true. They're getting trained in the same welding bays at night, like night school at South Texas College.
They're training with their kids. I mean, hand in hand. Isn't that amazing? And they all graduate together. We see them at graduation getting their certificate and associates together. It's incredible. But I mean, it gets emotional too, right? But when you see this and you see just the passion that our students and our population here in the Rio Grande Valley have, I mean, it's incredible. And I think that's an attribute to the success that now we have at the Rio Grande Valley of not being on the list anymore, because we are the model for the state and the nation.
Well, you got all the programs up and running and spinning.
That's
all
right.
the proper connections, the synergy between Region 1, the high schools, and
Everyone
industry.
working together.
So we're ready. Whatever it is, let's head it this way. We're ready to train.
That's right.
Like, example, the big manufacturer comes to McAllen.
Yes.
And I apologize. I don't remember how, because we asked this of the director of this training.
Yes.
Freddie, if you remember, tell me in my headphones, like, how long was the training? Was it 12 months, 24 months, the turnaround to get these high-paying jobs?
High
ready?
demand, yes.
Ready to
And
go.
they're ready to go to work. As soon as they finish, they're in the workforce. And so that's something that we really make sure that if we bring in industry, that they're going to stay here, that they're not going out of the region. We need to keep our talent here because we need them.
Do we need more brick and mortar at South Texas College? Do we need to expand over at Starr County or Westlake? What do we? Because I'm getting the feeling now that we're kind of maxing out where we are at the moment.
6 campuses, 2 counties. We're serving a population of over 3 million. I mean, we have expanded into Starr. We've already created some buildings over there with our law enforcement, our fire, our welding. So those are things that are happening in Westlake. The same thing. We've been there for a very long time, but we're just increasing and making sure we have more of the facilities to be able to deliver these. But here in Pecan, as you will know, we have continuing education. We have a huge facility that is going to be up and running in around a year. The Cooper Center has been expanding, the kinesiology. So there's great improvement and there's great expansion happening at South Texas College. And the synergy that we have here at South Texas College is to partner with our friends at Texas A&M, at UTRGV, whomever we can work with to make sure our students succeed.
Yeah, we can't say this enough. You want your kids to go to Texas A&M. Your kids wants to go to Texas A&M. They can start at South Texas College.
Yes,
there's a direct link and partnership. They start here and they jump over to the McAllen campus or College Station, I guess, depending on what they're studying. It's the engineering program.
And the engineering, the Jaggies, and I know Ernie was on your show, and we talked, and now we're gonna have a meeting to expand that. So this is just great collaboration efforts, But I do have to give credit to the Real South Texas Education Foundation because they provided some of the seed money for our JAG Reconnect and our Promise programs, and that goes a long way.
What noise does a Jaggy make?
I'm not sure about that, but
brother, thanks for having us over.
No, definitely. And you've been incredible. Thank you for advocating for education, for economic development and prosperity in the Rio Grande Valley, because that helps a lot.
We can't say this enough. And you guys who listen to KURV working for a living, God bless y'all. Share this as often as you can. Your family needs to know, your clients, your vendors that need to know about this. We're broadcasting from South Texas College on behalf of COSTEP. This is the Sergio Show.
Food from our usual place for the big meeting.
Yes,
My VP said, please God, no.
For workplaces suffering with corporate catering deficiency, every day's a struggle.
The food was always meh and over budget. Before Easy Cater, I thought that was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat CCD with a huge variety of restaurants, help meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Use daily. One platform lets you save time and thrive. Ask your web browser about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
Join News Talk 710 KURV's Sergio Sanchez on The Sergio Show, Wednesday morning starting at 9 from South Texas College in McAllen, featuring the Council of South Texas Economic Progress reveal of their industrial data system. Learn where industries are coming together and how key sectors are evolving and why Rio South Texas is emerging as a strategic platform for increasing investment. Get the inside news Wednesday morning starting at 9 on The Sergio Show on 710 KURV, the pulse of Valley business.
If you're in the market for a new Toyota or pre-owned Toyota, look no further than Toyota Afar. They have an extensive selection of Toyota cars and Toyota SUVs and Toyota trucks, along with exceptional customer service every step of the way. Call 956-815-2285.
Jay Gonzalez, the Valley's top lawyer with over 20 years of experience. Jay Gonzalez is simply the best. If you've been injured in a crash, call 1-800-CAR-CRASH today.
History is unfolding, and you're listening to it on News Talk 710 KURV, Edinburgh, McAllen, Harlingen, Brownsville.
Democrats are trying to stop President Trump in Iran. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, pushing a war powers resolution today in the Senate trying to limit the operation. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says the president is using
America's sons and daughters as pawns in his endless war. That's the way it is.
But House Speaker Mike Johnson just said that resolution to limit the U.S. would be terrible and dangerous, that the president is acting lawfully to take out Iran's nuclear threat.
Because we all know why they were enriching uranium, and it had nothing to do with medical devices and energy supply. It was to kill their enemies, and the U.S. was at the top of the list with Israel.
And on day 5 of the operation,
we are accelerating, not decelerating. Iran's capabilities are evaporating by the hour.
War Secretary Pete Hegseth says Iran's air forces know more. As for its navy,
combat ineffective, decimated, destroyed, defeated, pick your adjective.
And he detailed one of the U.S. attacks.
An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters.
And that, Hegseth adds, is
the first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II.
But Iran is still threatening to destroy the military and economic infrastructure across the region, firing more missiles into Israel. Another aimed at Turkey was shot down. Fox's Jillian Turner reports from the State Department.
There are more than a dozen American embassies in the Middle East that have been closed physically because of the threat from Iranian militias. But now what we are seeing develop, worrying sign for the first time, is that they are actually, some of them, starting to cease operations altogether, even remotely.
Which could make it tougher on Americans told to leave the region but can't with thousands of flights canceled. Cuba has just filed terrorism charges against 6 people who were on a boat from Florida last week that Cuba says tried to infiltrate the island, opening fire on soldiers who fired back, killing 4 others on that boat. The U.S. is also investigating, not taking Cuba's word for what happened. America's listening to Fox News.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms do apply.
Ahead of a contentious vote at the Senate this afternoon on that war powers resolution, there is a contentious hearing this morning in the House. The Republican-led Oversight Committee probing years of fraud in Minnesota, blaming Democrats for looking the other way, questioning Governor Tim Walz and State Attorney General Keith Ellison, who got an earful from Congressman Tom Emmer a short time ago. Emmer also from Minnesota.
Mr. Ellison, my concern is that you actively obstructed this investigation in exchange for campaign donations, a quid pro quo. If these concerns are proven to be true, you should be disbarred and you should go to jail.
Now, Ellison denies those allegations. Democrats at the hearing are focusing more on controversial immigration enforcement in Minneapolis that included Americans who confronted immigration agents shot dead. Here's Congressman Robert Garcia with Governor Walz.
There appears to be actually no evidence that ICE and DHS reign of terror in Minnesota that continues has actually prevented any fraud. Is that your assessment, sir?
That's correct.
A congressman has been voted out In the first primaries ahead of the 2026 midterm elections, Dan Crenshaw lost to a Republican primary challenger, Steve Toth, who had the backing of GOP Senator Ted Cruz. Another Republican, Senator John Cornyn, has to go to a runoff in May in his re-election campaign. Neither Cornyn or his top challenger in the Republican side, State Attorney General Ken Paxton, got 50% in the primary. The winner of their runoff will face James Tallarico, who won the Democratic primary. A state rep, Tallarico says his campaign
is about whether the people will hold the power in this state and in this country.
He defeated Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who conceded in a post on X this morning and congratulated Tallarico. On Wall Street, there are some big gains this morning in a rebound. The Dow is up 335 points, the NASDAQ getting 327. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Here's 710 KURV AccuWeather forecast. Windy today with a mix of clouds and sun. Very warm. Highs in the upper 80s, low 90s. The southeast wind at 20 to 30 miles an hour sustained. Mostly cloudy, breezy, still quite warm tonight. The low just down into the mid 70s with the southeast winds subsiding some to 12 to 25 miles an hour. Still windy and warm. Variably cloudy Thursday, mid 80s to low 90s. Windy on Friday too with clouds and sun, mid 80s to low 90s. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
The tax sales event has arrived at South Texas Buick GMC. Drive home a powerful GMC Sierra for only $199 a month, or take home a Buick Envision for just $258 a month. Plus, enjoy huge discounts across our entire inventory. Visit SouthTexasGMC.com or call 661-5000. Take the Cherry Road exit between McAllen and Mission. Celebrating 20 years with you. South Texas Buick GMC. Not the biggest, just the best.
Tax deadlines to remember for your 2025 return. I'm Brian Brenberg, co-host of The Big Money Show with your Fox Business Tax Tip. Coming up.
Kudlow on Fox Business is now on the go for podcast fans. Get key interviews with the biggest business newsmakers of the day. The Kudlow podcast will be available on the go after the show every weekday at foxbusinesspodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
The IRS began accepting returns on January 26th, but the last day to file your return is Wednesday, April 15th. And if you need an extension, your request will need to be in before then. For extensions, you or your accountant must file Form 4868 to extend your filing by 6 months. But tax attorney Rebecca Walzer warns this won't give more time for what you owe.
A lot of people think I filed an extension, so the actual payment is not due, and that's not correct. They have two separate penalties of a failure to file, but you also have a failure to pay, and that failure to pay would be implicated even if you have an extension.
Brian Brenberg, Fox News.
Broadcasting from the Valley's commercial and fleet headquarters studio at PayneAutoGroup.com. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. From the Radio United Broadcast Center, this is the Sergio Show. Talking about the news headlines and topics that affect you. And now, the Sergio Show with Sergio Sanchez.
Hour 2 of the Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. Thank you to Lone Star National Bank. Big thank you to South Texas Buick GMC. A very, very big thank you to the good folks at COSTEP in Rio, South Texas. There are one of several underwriters having us here at South Texas College today. We're on the road to celebrate COSTEP and Rio, South Texas, and the reveal of their industrial data system. If you're just joining us, just a quick 30-second recap. So COSTEP, this Council of South Texas Economic Progress, they're unifying regional effort to try to sell our region, southern Texas, northern Mexico. It's called Rio, South Texas. For several months now, the folks at COSTEP, Rio, South Texas, have been accumulating data on roughly 300 different companies, 85% of those companies in northern Mexico. You know, the maquilas, the industry, the employers, the internationals that are here building consumer goods and medical goods, things like that. We have about 300 different companies that they looked at, did a deep dive and provided a data set on them, like a profile on them for the benefit of education for the benefit of economic development entities and leadership, all growing in the same direction to see if we can lure more industry, make it faster. When there's a request for information, like one of those RFIs, request for information, this will help that encyclopedia of information we need to access to hopefully make a quick sale. Teclo Garcia, our brother from Mission Economic Development, Tecno Garcia, is among the who's who of economic development and leadership and industry here on the second floor of the Student Union at South Texas College.
Look around. Wow.
Okay. So, do you feel intimidated when you see some of these other people, like let's say Steve over there from Westlaco?
Oh yeah, Steve. I wonder if he has that Westlaco embroidered jacket with his name on it, the sports coat. I get intimidated by that.
So, from the golf, the special jacket that they have.
Yeah, like the green jacket, right? No, there is a lot of folks here, a lot of decision makers, a lot of influencers that are top notch in economic development in the Rio Grande Valley, and what Adam and his team is doing is really wonderful, and kind of grabbing people from northern Mexico, from the Valley and Laredo together in one place is really good. And a lot of times we don't do stuff with Laredo, but I'm glad Adam's group has looped in Laredo into what they do. So, Laredo's a trade monster, and what's good for them can be good for us.
We're looking forward to better days in Laredo, the day they get indoor plumbing and electricity over there. It's coming eventually.
Man,
it's coming.
That's tough, man. But
every time, almost every time that we interview Henry Cuellar,
man.
I ask him.
They think that about us. They do. Like, when I worked there for 3 years, people say, "Oh, you're from the Valley." Oh, I never go there.
Oh,
why would I go there?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So it's there.
I'm going to quadruple my efforts of insulting our Laredo family. I can't. Part of our radio cluster is in Laredo, so I got to live with them all the time. Teclo Garcia is the director of Mission Economic Development. We're at South Texas College at the Student Union building. We're celebrating this big reveal, this industrial intelligence briefing, the industrial data system that Rio, South Texas is providing. It's a snapshot of northern Mexico, southern Texas industry. We're hoping it helps with recruitment. How, initially, without taking a deep dive with all the information they're revealing, how do you see, initially, how you could use this in order to help you recruit and get company, when people start calling, like how is it going to help you lure some industry to South Texas?
Yeah, for sure. I think for all of us, anytime you can get your hands on data, it's very important. You got Orlando from Harlingen walking in here. It just goes to show you how important this kind of information is relevant and important to us in the recruitment process, right? We like to know output numbers. We would like to know how many people are employed. We'd like to know how much the wages are and what's important to the businesses that are located here. A lot of times, when we talk about businesses in Mexico, I think the perception is that we're dealing with Mexican businesses. We're often dealing with American businesses doing business in Mexico, right? And they have factories and production lines, and you can name it, from Panasonic to John Deere to BMW and GM and all these companies that do business in Mexico. We're often dealing with multinationals or American companies, and that's really important. So when we approach them about recruitment or expansions, this information is really relevant to us in doing our job.
Or Asian or European, with a near shore, which would near shore or reshore. But on the near shore side, I would imagine initially, at the beginning of the Trump administration, there was some talk. Well, maybe we can get him closer, and they can jump Asia, come over here, and avoid tariffs and all those things.
As everyone knows, the COVID and the pandemic really brought this nearshoring and logistics issue to the forefront. I think that the industry understood that making everything in Asia wasn't the best thing to do for your largest customer base in the world, which is the U.S., but it was cheap, and there weren't, or there hadn't been interruptions in some time. And so when COVID happened and everybody freaked out, and there was 70 ships waiting outside the port of LA, people said, "Oh, you know what? We need to come back."
No, and even worse, Tekla. Again, we need to remember the ships that did the U-turn.
Oh, right,
and left
yeah.
us without
Yeah.
personal protection equipment, masks and those gowns and all that stuff, and the equipment and IVs and all that stuff. It went right back to China. Hey, I don't blame them. They're taking care of number one, but we need that over here.
Yeah,
we need to produce that personal protection equipment, IVs over here. Maybe we could get some of that medical stuff over here.
And we're the biggest proponent for having those produced in the United States. We need to look out for number one. However, having them done in Mexico or Canada, it's also very important and convenient, and sometimes a reality when it comes to labor costs and tariffs and so forth. Having these things done in Mexico, it's not a bad thing. And I'll tell you another thing that a lot of people won't talk about is that Mexico is slowly building up their middle class with jobs like this that American companies and other multinationals are putting in Mexico, and people in Mexico are being able to go to college, have 2 cars, buy a house, right? That's our contribution as well to Mexico in lifting its overall economy to a better standard. And so it's a good partnership to have.
Tekla Garcia is the Director of Economic Development in the city of Mission. Congratulations on some recent successes. It's important to repeat that the aluminum producer, recycler.
Yes, that's right.
Right. And then, of course, the big call center that's in the area as well.
We just sat down with the call center. It's an inbound call center, which means they're not outbound selling. They're servicing contracts. We just sat down with them, and they're talking about adding 500 more jobs.
Excellent. Yeah.
Right, with starting wages at about $17 an hour.
I'm sorry. What's her name again? I'm sorry.
Ubiquity.
Ubiquity. Yeah. And it's all full-time jobs.
Yeah, right.
Normally, call centers provide jobs for college kids. No, this is 17, starting at 17, and they keep climbing from there.
It's like 16 and a half. If you have Spanish language skills, it's more. And then you're right. They do not hire part-timers. They want to have people committed to the organization, but also be able to provide those individuals medical and health, medical and vision and dental and other benefits, vacation. It's a fabulous facility.
They do take care of them.
Yeah, they sure do.
Those are the type of companies we want to start with, and we want even bigger and better than that.
And by the way, this is the only call center that this company has in the United States. They're based in the U.S. Their headquarters is in New York, but their call centers are around the world. This is the only one in the U.S.
And good for them. They're called Ubiquity. What's the name of the aluminum recycler?
Century Recycling.
Okay. When will they be up and running?
Well, they're going to break ground in late April or early May, and then it'll take about a year plus to construct a facility.
Okay. Special training to get those people in there for?
Yes. In fact, I just talked to Dr. Solis this morning coming into the building about how STC can help with some of that training.
Excellent. And going back to the Spanish, the skill set, Spanish. Not like producer Freddie and his Spanish, because his Spanish is more like azul, la casa, panecitos.
If you can barely order at Mrs. G's, you got problems, man.
Oh, no, he can't. He knows that menu by memory. I want to say thank you to a friend over at the Rio Plex Economic Development effort. They were sharing this. I picked it up from Freight Waves, online publication.
Ooh, Freight Waves is good. I've been on there before.
U.S. and Mexico trade hitting a new high of $872 billion in 2025. We're flirting with a trillion. $872 billion of 2025 trade between the U.S. and Mexico. Mexico remains the number one U.S. trading partner for the third straight year. I'm sure you're keeping your ear to the ground on the U.S.-Mexico trade agreement. So where are we going here with this thing?
Well, those things are always complicated, and because they're sophisticated agreements. So Right now, for the most part, in the organizations that I belong to, like the Border Trade Alliance, NASCO, and others, where we have the government affairs people in Washington and in Mexico City following this, right now they're trying to ease into the talks in a positive way and try to figure something out that'll work for all three countries. That's going to be difficult, but not undoable. We can make it work. And so there's a lot in the details, like you said, devil's in details. It could be in steel, it could be in aluminum, it could be what, car parts get charged certain, or how much of the percentage of this is made here. And certainly the White House have their thoughts on it, and as well as Los Pinos in Mexico, and Canada. Everyone has their thoughts on how things should work out. We're gonna, keep listening to our folks to see what we can do, but all that's important because ultimately it ends up how many trucks are going to be crossing the border in the near future.
Some of the news of the morning, the worldwide 15% tariff, I think it kicks in before the end of the week. That was a follow-up from D.C. That's only about 5 months. They're looking at other tariffs. The White House, the president is looking at other tariffs. But because on the IEEPA, this emergency economic tool to stop trading whatever, because the tariffs were incorrectly applied there, said the High Court, that stick is gone. So do you see maybe the negotiation to review USMCA, maybe it's a little less stressful now because that stick is gone? We have a different type of tariffs that are set that likely do not apply to the North American Free Trade Agreement.
I don't think they're going to be, as you say, any less stressful. I don't think they're stressful. May not be the right word, but they're still going to be complicated, and everyone's going to want to have their say. And as you know, different industries are lined up to have their say because it's going to, whatever is agreed upon, they're trying to, have the least impact possible, whether it's produce, aluminum, steel, auto, whatever that is, they're trying to have their say. I'll give you just a point, and I know it was last time this thing was negotiated, but I was in Mexico City for some meetings, and we had someone from the State Department come talk to us from the U.S. Embassy who oversaw trade, and the person excused themselves. They said, "Hey, look, I'd like to stay all day for the meeting, but I have to go over to somebody's building," because they were in a 3-day talks about aluminum. So they're talking 3 straight days about aluminum. So that tells you the complexity of these agreements. So I don't think it's going to be anything less, any less work. And certainly the president had his say. So we just got to figure it out.
As boring as how it potentially sounds, 3 days of talking aluminum, I bet you for economic nerds like who fill the room right here at South Texas College, that would be like the #1 podcast to go check out on how many different,
it's true,
how you can mold different, recycle, true, all that different.
No, we're very optimistic though. Yeah. And I think that there's too much at stake here for all 3 countries for there not to be an agreement to be worked out.
Sergio Garcia is the Economic Development Director for our city of Mission. I'll leave you with this, just a quick talk on this. You mentioned wages earlier. And look, McAllen's about 2 weeks away from a major announcement of a manufacturer. We know through STC that these jobs pay $80, $90 an hour. We've been talking about this for a while. So with that, plus the engineering gigs over at SpaceX at the coast, LNG paying very well, 6-figure salaries for just basic welders and things like that. And we're looking at literally a rocket now on the potential median wage in the Valley increasing over a very short period of time here. We're no longer, minimum wageville USA. I don't know if somebody if the census or somebody conducts a study and runs those numbers, but I bet you that median wage is already climbing quickly. And when the big announcement here, and then when Gilbert announced that big multi-billion thing over there, and then the shipbuilder of the port, oh my goodness.
No, and we've got some more projects in Mission as well that we really can't talk about, but those wages are in the 50 plus, 60 plus range. The ones you're talking about will be even higher. But the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS, federal agency in DC, They do all the wage surveying, and then often the state governments, like the commission here in Texas, relies on the BLS's statistics. If you look at the overall general wage for the Valley, it's something like $20 an hour, right? Now they're putting everything in the pool, right? The master teachers, counselors, psychiatrists, the medical field. So we
got a lot more doctors, a lot more specialists.
Right, but they skew the wage higher. So when you tell somebody, hey, well, the average wage in Del County is $20, that doesn't seem right. But it's because of that. But we welcome all those. And we know that if McAllen is going to draw a huge project or Brownsville is going to draw a huge project, I've said it on your show many times, this is a regional economy, and those people are not going to just live and work in one place. This is important for everybody.
I got to ask you, with that big project, but that is so close to Mission, by the way, will there be some energies runoff, maybe suppliers? Can you feed off of that, maybe provide into that?
We do already.
Mission, some coordination between McAllen and Mission.
There's a lot of businesses that go back and forth. I know us in city and economic development world know where all the city limits are and the lines are, but businesses mostly don't care about that, right? They know they're in our region. And in fact, the Ubiquity expansion started with Ralph Garcia from the McAllen EDC giving me a call and saying, hey, look, we're trying to find a place for these guys. At that particular time, McAllen didn't have a location suitable for that industry, and so he talked to me, and we met with them. We found a place in Mission on Sherry Road, and then it's exploded ever since then. But if Ralph and I didn't have that relationship to talk about things like that, it wouldn't have ever happened.
No, and there is an open door.
Yeah,
with all the economic development offices.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Good to, we need to continue talking and think regional,
especially Steve in Weslaco. Work with Steve.
You've been ribbing him all morning. Did you say? Did he?
No, he's awesome. He owns a bar in Weslaco.
Yeah.
They do a great job.
I think the
there.
last joke I heard from Teco on Steve from Weslaco was after a nuclear bombing, the things left would be roaches and Steve's hair. That's the only.
Yeah, it's great hair, man.
It's all the products he puts in there.
Oh, it's a product.
Hey, thanks for giving me so much time this morning.
Yes, sir, of course.
It's spring training time.
I should be in Arizona right now. Oh, man.
No, Florida, where's the Astros are at.
I know, but Arizona's kind of nicer than Florida. Yeah, no humidity.
Well, that's true. But then you get Disneyland nearby.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I tell you, if you do go to Arizona, why don't you grab one of those computer chip manufacturers, bring them over here to South Texas where you're at. Right?
Yeah, they don't have any water over there. How are they doing that?
I know. Isn't that crazy? All right. Good luck, brother.
Hey, thank you very much. Always good.
Teclo Garcia, he's the Director of Economic Development for our City of Mission. Continued success. His success will be our success. Time is 10:27. The Sergio Show on Newstalk 710 KURV from South Texas College. Here celebrating the reveal of the industrial data set from Rio, South Texas. A snapshot of industry in northern Mexico and southern Texas. Let's go get it. Let's go. Let's go. Time to get more jobs and go recruit.
As your one local trusted partner for nearly a century, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas ensures the widest access to the best affordable care, where you need it, when you need it. Blue Cross and Blue Shield, offering a constellation of healthcare services where you're always the stars.
Looking for the right machine to get the job done? ASCO and Case Construction is backed by decades of experience and a full lineup of equipment, from light to heavy. Right now, our compact track loaders and excavators are moving fast. And with ASCO, you get the support and expertise to keep your operation running. Don't settle for less. Get the machines that get the work done. Visit your local ASCO dealership today or visit ASCOEQ.com and see the full equipment lineup for yourself. ASCO and Case Construction, built to work, built to last.
With Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, you can believe in a world of wellness. As you move forward on your health and wellness journey, count on a bond that forever keeps us in the center of trust. Blue Cross and you. Together, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas. Through it all.
Join News Talk 710 KURV's Sergio Sanchez on The Sergio Show, Wednesday morning starting at 9 from South Texas College in McAllen, featuring the Council of South Texas Economic Progress reveal of their industrial data system. Learn where industries are coming together and how key sectors are evolving, and why Rio South Texas is emerging as a strategic platform for increasing investment. Get the inside news Wednesday morning starting at 9 on The Sergio Show on 710 KURV, the pulse of Valley business.
I was ordering food from our usual place for the big meeting. My VP said, "Please, God, no."
For workplaces suffering with corporate catering deficiency, every day's a struggle.
The food was always meh and over budget. Before Easy Cater, I thought that was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat CCD with a huge variety of restaurants, help meet dietary needs, and stay on budget. Use daily. One platform lets you save time and thrive. Ask your web browser about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
Covering the Valley and the entire world on the World Wide Web. Log on, KURV.com. News Talk 710 KURV.
Time is 10:29. The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. We're at South Texas College here with Rio, South Texas. It is the Council of South Texas Economic Progress, COSTEP, and the big reveal from them today. They're the data set, that industrial data system. It's a snapshot of South Texas and more specifically northern Mexico industry, hoping that local education and economic development can use all that data they're revealing today and help them sell South Texas, get more industry, get more jobs down here. We're taking a short break right now, a little reset, and I'll come back. If I have time, I'll come back with a little bit of news. In fact, let me see what time it is. Let me just take 1 minute because I know we've got some audio that we need to play here. Coming up in just a few minutes. The top conversation of the morning was the RGV Port of Brownsville. Now, the RGV Port is in the running to get major defense-related boat manufacturer, and it's like a $3 billion plus project. And of course, the economic impact of that would be just crazy. How many thousands of jobs? And you can just imagine the multiplier if Brownsville lands at $3.3 billion boat manufacturer. So the chief of the RGV Port of Brownsville, William Dietrich, conversation with him, that's coming up in just a little bit, so stick around for that. Freddie, I'm thinking if you give me a minute or two here, let me look at some of the big numbers from the election. We had a big election yesterday. On the national stuff, you'll hear about the U.S. Senate and all that stuff. So I need to share with you some of the local stuff real quick before we go and start playing some of this audio. I'm hoping we can catch up with some of the Iran war stuff that's taking place. We got some audio to share with you as well. There will be election stuff. There will be a new Commissioner of Agriculture in Texas. Sid Miller was defeated by Nate Sheets, the Republican Nate Sheets. Nate Sheets still needs to clear the November election. The candidate on the Democrat side, Clayton Tucker. So it's Nate Sheets versus Clayton Tucker for Commissioner of Agriculture. Sid Miller will remain as Commissioner of Agriculture until early next year after the election. The State Representative District 37. Janie Lopez, the incumbent, coming back as the candidate. She got almost 70% of the vote on the GOP side. And State Representative District 37, same seat on the Democrat side. They still need to find a challenger to go up against Janie Lopez. The two people that are running in that race, Ociel Azi Ochoa Jr. got 46% of the vote. Esmeralda Esmi Cantu Castle got 32% of the vote. That's the Democrats. So the Democrats go into a runoff to figure out who's going to run against Janie Lopez. State Representative 41, mostly North McAllen area, but kind of extends the Mission Edinburgh a little bit. State Representative District 41, Republican. Sergio J. Sanchez got the most votes at almost 46%. And forced into a runoff Gary Groves, you know those signs around town with Mr. Red Hat, the MAGA hat, Gary Groves? 38.4%. That goes to a runoff. Republican State Representative District 40 is a runoff. The top two vote getters, Celeste Cabrera Huff, Nehemias Memo Gomez. Back to State Representative District 41 on the Democrat side. And this is where I was very surprised. I'm biased here, okay? I'm biased because we talk a lot with our former city commissioner in McAllen, Sebi Haddad. And he's well known in the community. But again, this is was a party race. The hardcore left and the Democrats are the ones that you need to appease. On the Republican side, the hardcore right are the ones that you need to appease because the hard right, hard left, Republican, Democrat, those are the voters who decide who the candidate will be. So I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. I did forget that Sebi was running against two other people. Julio Salinas got the most votes, 38.5% of the vote. Victor Sebi Haddad right behind him, 37.3%. This is a runoff. State House 41 is a runoff. Now, just an observation, I'll put it on the table. Eric Holguin, who's a leftist, I just say that from Facebook postings and being with Kamala Lamala, he just championed everything on the left, the crazy new left Democrat stuff. That's Eric. He got 24% of the vote. Julio Salinas, who I still need to, I need to meet him. I don't know what he represents, but maybe he's also on the left. I don't know. Between Eric and Julio, everybody goes back and votes in the runoff. Yeah, there are more than enough votes to keep Sebi home as a candidate for the Democrat side. But again, we'll see how things play out. The runoff is like late May, like the 28th or something. MVS will give you those numbers here on 710 KURV. There's a lot more stuff. Go check online. I recommend the Secretary of State, Texas Secretary of State, go to the elections results and you get a whole list of everything that you want. Time is 10:35, the Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. We're broadcasting from South Texas College here with Rio, South Texas, COSTEP. And at this very moment, a room full of folks here on the second floor at the Student Union. They're revealing the data set, the industrial data system, looking at manufacturing, Northern Mexico and Southern Texas. Thank you to South Texas Buick GMC. Thank you to COSTEP for having us here. Thank you as well to Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing, ChamberlainLTD.com. Thank you to Lone Star National Bank.
Hi there, my name is Tony Bolstead. My wife and I, Carol, own Sand Monsters. We'd like you to come on out and have fun. We've got a half-mile long track out here. It runs across about 3.5 acres. Have adult cars and kid cars, getting laps in, learning how to drive on the sand. And we also lease space to Redline Helicopters is one of our tenants here, and they've got a pad and they do helicopter tours. Lone Star National Bank and the team there really helped us get this thing put together, answered all our questions, huge help.
I am Stephanie Harrison. I am the second generation owner of Sisters Interiors on South Padre Island. We had always dreamed of owning our own land and owning our own building, using our design team to create what you see here today. That's how we got involved with Lone Star National Bank. We partnered with them and they helped us, create the dream.
Our mom accomplished so much in her life. She was a great mother, wife, and school teacher. She amazed so many. When we lost her, we were so very sad, but comforted that she had pre-planned her funeral with the fine people at McCaleb Funeral Home. A live celebration would tell her big story.
Hi, I am Carla McCaleb. Along with my husband Mark and our caring staff, we know we are in the healing business because we hear it from families we serve. Please read our reviews about our life celebrations and fair and transparent prices for unmatched service and how we lift people up with our healing care and compassion. Celebrating lives since 1963.
The Valley's only life celebration home. To learn more about the choices you can make now so a future funeral becomes more of a celebration of life, call Carla at 956-650-2841, 956-650-2841, or visit their website, McCalebFuneralHome.com.
free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone.